Okay, in fact, let's take this discussion forward. We have two guests joining in. As we told you, the Competition Commission of India has now approved the Zee-Sony merger after companies allay concerns over market dominance, higher advertising fee and channel pricing mechanisms. The merger is now pending approval from the INB Ministry, shareholders and the Income Tax Department, but it seems likely that it will come through. To discuss this latest development, we are joined by Raj Nayak, the founder at the House of Chia Networks, and Karan Taurani, the Senior Vice President, Research Analyst at Elara Securities. Gentlemen, morning to both of you. Raj, good morning. Thanks for being with us on CNBC-TV18. Pleasure speaking with you after a while. You know, this is big, right? I mean, the merged entity is now going to have more share than Star. They're going to have several synergies, including bringing down costs in a big way. What do you see as the way forward?
Good morning, Sonia, and nice to see you again. I think it's a good thing that has happened because the television industry was going through a little bit of a turmoil, and this whole merger, I think, there will be a very strong entity, and I think they complement each other in many which ways. But, you know, we all keep harping about they're going to be X percentage higher than X, Y, and Z. But the way to look at it is now there will be three strong entities in the overall national space, that is Viacom, Disney Star, and Zee-Sony. And also don't forget that even in the regional space, there is strong competition from individual players, smaller networks as well. So I think what will happen now is, the way to look at it is, there will be three strong competitors in the national space, and of course they will have to fight regional players in the regional space as well.
Right. Raj, hi. Karan, hi. Good morning. Karan, specifically with regards to this deal, you know, satisfying certain conditions, there is some fear that they may have to close down one of the sort of prominent channels. There was a news report to that effect as well, although that is not the base case. How should one think about that? Will you know, something of that sort have significant revenue implications, or you think it'll be one of the smaller ones? Your sense?
So I think if you look at press release issued by Zee on the 4th of October, there's clearly mentioned over there that, you know, both the parties have submitted a voluntary remedy, you know, to CCI in terms of which channels to switch off and how will they actually move ahead with the deal. I mean, we don't know in terms of what the voluntary remedy is. Is it on ad pricing? Is it on bargaining power? Is it on channel switching off, or which channel switching off? But if one can, you know, try and assess the word voluntary, it clearly indicates that there is a very low likelihood of, you know, a large flagship channel switching off. I think that is like a very huge overhang that, you know, one thought that, you know, maybe a Sony Entertainment Television or a Zee TV can switch off. So that was like an overhang which was there. But we are hoping that, you know, that is not the case. And if that is not the case, I think all is well for Zee-Sony merger. And the reason why we are saying that, you know, there's very low likelihood of this event happening is clearly because of the viewership share. So if you look at the viewership share of the combined entity in terms of the Hindi, GC, urban, rural, everything put together, it is somewhere below 40-odd%. And then that makes it like a low likelihood event that, you know, some of the large channels might switch off. But nonetheless, I think there is always a likelihood of some small channel possibly going off air. You know, for example, Zee in Marathi is very strong. Sony is very poor over there. So you might have Sony channel switching off over there. This is very hypothetical, but, you know, just something that could happen in our view, basically.
Hi, Karan. Morning. Hi, Raj. Morning as well. Well, Karan, you know, just want to probe you a little bit. So you're saying that one of the flagship channels are unlikely to get shut down, which will be good news. But, you know, there is also some synergy benefits that people are talking about. So you must be having a pro forma number right now in terms of margins. What kind of an improvement can come about, say, in the next couple of years? And also, what kind of a multiple are you giving it? It's supposed to be a re-rating event, right? So what was it? What are you likely to give it now?
So firstly, you know, we valued Zee-Sony on an SOTP basis. And if you look at the synergies, there are various assumptions into it. There could be revenue synergies wherein, you know, they could have a better hold in terms of pricing because of the entity being so large and controlling such a large part of the viewership share. There could also be another revenue synergy, which would be in your distribution market share, where, you know, they could probably have a higher share versus the distributor, which is your MSO and DTH. And there are also a lot of cost synergies which are there. Now, cost synergies could be in the form of, you know, content cost, basically rationalization of content cost, employee cost, marketing expenses. So broadly, I think synergies on revenue are in the range of 5 to 6%. Synergies on cost, again, could have a positive impact on overall, you know, PAT by almost 15 to 20%. So there is a big amount of synergy sitting out there for the merged entity. But what we have assumed in our estimate for now is the cost synergy part, wherein we are expecting the overall cost base of the company put together today to come down by anywhere close to 5 to 6%, possibly because of marketing expense, employee, and the content cost which is there, which kind of will get rationalized from here on. So that's the synergy that we expect. In terms of valuation multiples, typically, the broadcasting business has been struggling in the last 3 to 4 years since we have seen, 4G, OTT coming in. The digital has really kind of had a huge negative impact in terms of incremental growth, viewership, and eyeballs number for the TV segment. And basis that, I think the valuation multiples for the broadcasting business have converged in the range of 12 to 15 times, for the industry basis where they stand. Now, because of this merger, because of the entity becoming so large, because of them possibly having synergies, because of them being able to create a large OTT platform, and one can't forget the fact that IPL, Disney has actually lost IPL, so that will kind of get them on par with Zee-Sony if both these platforms come together. So there is a lot to happen in terms of performance, execution, content, strategy. And basis that for the broadcasting piece, we are expecting a multiple of close to 19 to 20 times forward for the combined entity.
Okay, what's your target price on Zee Entertainment?
So our target price on Zee Entertainment is 425 rupees.
Okay, that's a big upside to where the stock is currently. Raj, I wanted you to come in on this pricing, right? Both in terms of ad rates and channel pricing. Generally, when two large entities come together and there's a merger of this sort, is there a major change in ad rates and in channel pricing in general?
Yeah, I think obviously there are huge synergies and huge benefits like Karan mentioned. But the way to look at ad rates is, again, I don't think you should look at it as like a monopolistic situation for two reasons. End of the day, you will have to compete with the marketplace, right? So it's not that you can just, because you come together, you can just go and raise your prices. That's not going to happen. But what is good is I think they will have a lot of savings on costs in a big way. And of course, they will be able to leverage the strength of, because they complement each other in many ways. Like Karan mentioned, Sony has sports, Zee doesn't have sports, Zee has are strong in the regional space. So the way to look at it is they will complement each other. There will be a lot of savings, and I would put the same figure. There is an upside, overall upside of about 20-25% in my opinion. But again, not to look at it from an advertising that you will be able to come and take the price up. That's not the way to look at it. The way to look at it is, as a joint entity, they will be able to leverage their products better in the marketplace.
Karan, how much does Oppenheimer own now? 10%?
Yes, it's around that much.
Okay. And would you expect any movement in that shareholding anytime soon? I mean, there is some talk that they were waiting for this approval, and they may want to get out, and maybe Sony buys that up as well. Any thoughts at all?
Yeah, I mean, that could happen, but we don't see any issue in the shareholder approval meeting, which is going to happen on the 14th of October. I think that should probably go through, and then post that, there may be some kind of exchange in terms of the shareholding.
All right, fair enough. We'll leave it there. Thank you very much, Karan and Raj. Appreciate both of you coming on this morning with your perspective. Very useful discussion in terms of this big approval from CCI with regards to Zee-Sony, finally coming through almost after a year.